This is Bob Mack, and you're listening to Crashing the Party with Marc and Miriam.
Well, if you give a party, don't lock the doors. Turn out all the lights. Cause if you don't let my boys inside, it's going to be a fight. Well, we started out this morning. We're gonna rack some heads. Some names know how to call the heat. And now we're laying dead. Well, if you give a party, don't lock the doors. Turn out all the lights. Cause if you don't let my boys inside, it's going to be a fight.
Greetings and salutations once again, and welcome to Crashing the Party, the very best in doowop and R&B vocal group sounds with your hosts, Marc
and Miriam.
And we're bringing Bob Mack back. Yes, because you asked for it. We had such a huge response to our Bob Mack show that we decided to bring him back for another episode. So here's Miriam to tell you more about it.
Hey everybody, we're back here at Crashing the Party with the fantastic Bob Mack from Pittsburgh, PA, the king of the scene, whose story we've been wanting to tell so many times. We started off with that first episode where he really led us through his early days, getting into music, collecting, and also all of the great records that he was starting to explode with there in the Pittsburgh area. Today we're going into more of that, but my big curiosity was the dance clubs that he expanded on. There were a dozen, weren't there?
Yes, you're correct. That was in the 60s, and some will be added later.
Yeah, okay. Well, at any rate, let's have a little recap of where we were going with that whole topic of the incredible 60s garage monsters that you brought to the scene and the kids were stomping to at the dances in the 60s. Before that, you were doing radio. Let's hear a little bit more about that. Lead us back into that, won't you?
Well, Miriam, let me just say first that it's a pleasure and honor to be with you. My mission in life matches yours so closely. It was to find as many incredible recordings, rhythm and blues especially, and some others, garage, and artists that had never seen the light of day, and get this incredible music that was overlooked to as many people as possible, by all means possible. And that's why the dance club happened here, and that's why the radio show. And, I'm in my 80s, so that's all over for me. And I only know one person whose mission in life is matched that, and that's you. You've been bringing artists to other people. So anyway, last time, we talked about the music that was a mystery, and it was awesome, and people didn't know it. That was the big thing. And when they heard it, they went crazy. People tape recorded the show. Even Alan Freed didn't have that going on. They were trying to figure out what these records were. They went to the dance clubs and packed these dozen clubs that we had in the 60s. But bottom line is, when we went through that story and played some of that music, mostly the rare doowop that was from the primarily the dance club records. And at the end of that, you mentioned that, you had found out, I guess, that I had also multiple collections of records, some for the dance clubs, some for radio, and then I mentioned the garage. And you thought that this would be a great thing to do. So anyway, the bottom line is I put together a few sets of rare and awesome garage records that I hope your audience will really enjoy. I'm not on the radio anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm glad you're sharing with your audience, and I'd like to share with them what I've done all my life. Some of the most moving, incredible records that I found in all the years, all this country, with your listeners.
I know some of these records that you mentioned that you're going to be playing, and I have to tell you, this is absolutely top rank, the very, very best in 60s garage that are very rare records and super favorites over here. It's stunning that you were finding these records back then and that you were having your DJs at the clubs playing these in a dozen different clubs around the area. It's mind-blowing. So let's dive in with the first set. And yes, please do tell us about the records after we spin this trio first, okay? Let's go with the Swingin' Machine.
That is one of my favorites, the Swingin' Machines.
Ooh.
You have to ask on SPQR. It sounds like it would be written on the Colosseum in Rome, SPQR.
Yeah.
1965, and they were from Norfolk, Virginia.
What a record. Woo.
Yeah, that the beat of that thing. And, I did, by the way, I'll just throw this in. I didn't collect the English kind of garage, that kind of limp-wristed stuff. And I basically liked the Midwest, basically the heavy beat American garage records, and that's what you'll find. And also some great voices. For example, the next record, the group is Outcry, and the title of that is Can You Hear? It's on Riley. Group was from Texas. It was made in 1967.
I'm a sad and lonely man. I get my loving any way I can. I've got a love that's oh so true. And listen, baby, it's all for you. Can't you hear? Can't you hear my heartbeat, baby? Can't you hear my heartbeat, girl? Can't you hear my heartbeat? Listen, baby, whenever I try, all you do is run and hide. But can't you hear? Can't you hear my heartbeat, baby? Can't you hear my heartbeat, baby? Listen, listen. I'm a sad and lonely man. I get my love in any way I can. I've got a love that's oh so true. And listen, baby, it's all for you. But can't you hear? Can't you hear my heartbeat, baby? Can't you hear my heartbeat, girl? Can't you hear my heartbeat?
Passions, a rare record. You've Got Me Hurtin' on pick without a K. They were out of Texas in 1965.
Oh my God, three scorchers. Now tell me about it. Where were you discovering records like this? Where were you picking them up? And with the dance clubs, about what year were these things getting spun?
Well, we mixed it in. The dance clubs were based on the great rare rhythm and blues. But we mixed in a lot of garage records at the dance clubs as well. Of course, everything there, had to be one of two things. We'll have both, actually. They had to be rare, and they had to be awesome. If it's rare but it's no good, it's meaningless. If it's awesome but they made millions and everybody has it, it's no big deal. But if it's rare and awesome, that is no secret.
Rare and awesome, yeah.
And so, anyway, we mixed the garage in rhythm and blues, and it exploded in the clubs. I told you about how I got most of the rhythm and blues records, and most of the garage records actually came from the same sources. I had people in 7 different cities that sent me incredible stuff.
Wow.
That you wouldn't find in any one place. But one other thing that you had asked about was the different collections. You asked me last time if I used the same records on radio, and I never really explained that.
Yeah.
So I'll take a second.
Okay.
The biggest part of the cream of the crop, about 10,000 records, maybe 8,000, were rhythm and blues dance records. And a couple thousand that I put aside for the radio. And the reason for this was the people that were at the dance clubs, as I mentioned to you before, those records, my rhythm and blues, and at the dance club was R&R. And that's romance and rhythm.
Yeah.
Because they were in a dance club. They wanted to do two things, dance and make love. So I wanted to, that's why I played records that always were danceable as well as awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the ballads that had the harmony and melody, that had the words of the love song. So when they were embracing on the dance floor, sometimes they were naive. And I said what the girl or the guy would say to their partner, that maybe was the words of the records.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a complex formula, but it worked.
With the clubs, when you were getting the sets together for the DJs, now you've got a dozen clubs. I know that you didn't have a dozen copies of the Swingin' Machine to spread around to these people. No. You were putting very different sets together for different towns, right? Did you have a finger on the pulse there, or what?
Let me explain it this way. I had multiple sets, as I said. Now, the set for the dance clubs had to be for lovers, the great love songs, and the dancers, the funky beat. The records, the next collection that I had, it was all one big collection, but the next individual segment of that collection was the radio records. And I mean, it was like Lovin' Machine and Treat That, and wild and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Instrumentals, a lot of stuff that I didn't play at the dances. Why?
Yeah.
They were listening on car radios or transistors in the car. They were in the dance club.
Yeah.
So it didn't have to be rhythm and romance. So the stuff on the radio, that collection that I had set aside just for radio, sometimes it got intermixed, but that was just, it's, car radios, they're tuning in, and it's for fun. It's a good time. Wild, crazy, and fun. So that's those two. Then the garage records, it wasn't 8,000 like a dance club R&B or 2,000 for the radio. It was the stuff that just had such an incredible rhythm and total sound, that we mixed it in. But it wasn't in the thousands. I might have had less than 1,000, maybe 600-800.
Oh my Lord! These were your records, right? These weren't the DJ's records. How did you corral them back in? When you're giving them some really mouth-watering records to play on a particular evening, they just handed them back to you, and then they went into rotation to another club. Were these like rotation records?
I'm sorry to jump in, but no. I'm glad you're asking these questions. I had initially I played every night of the week myself. I didn't trust anybody.
Wow.
But then I only got more clubs, and I couldn't be at two places you're popular. So, and I finally had to trust some DJs and I picked out the people in Pittsburgh who were the most passionate about music, that were, if possible, dancers, so they knew what worked and what didn't. Threw them on a formula, and I had to find people that were that already had their own collections. I only gave records to people in some cases, like the Hanky Panky that we talked about last time, where I had a half a dozen or so copies. But at some point, instead of doing it all myself, I realized these dances the crowds would be even bigger if we could have more on the weekends. So then I brought in a whole team. We had to be qualified. There were a lot of people that wanted to play, but they didn't have the records or the understanding of how to build the sets.
Right.
And what was danceable and what was a listen to.
Right.
It was hard to find them, and that's why Ronnie, Rat, Louie, Mike, and all these guys that I mentioned in our first conversation. That's why I used them. And we would help each other if somebody came up with something, and there were more than one copy. That was available. We would help the other guys out.
Well, did you have a pact or some kind of an agreement that you weren't going to tell the dancers what the records were? Were you that secretive about them that everybody kind of held pretty close to their chest what these records were?
No, the whole difference between what I did and other cities that didn't have dance clubs going on like we have here, or exciting rhythm and blues, it was a matter of picking the right stuff.
I just wanted to know if you kept the titles and artists secret on these records.
Yeah, that was the thing that created the excitement and the buzz. If they knew if I gave out the information on the radio or at the clubs to people, they could find them possibly. There were half a dozen companies who were bootlegging the records. And see, the thing is, the mystery was the secret.
Yes.
That's what created the buzz all over in the schools and colleges and everywhere. Oh man, we're trying to. And that's why they taped the show. When I started that radio show, and it didn't include most of the great dance rock, the phones would light up when I started, and the girl would keep coming down. She's the same thing. They're all saying, please ask Bob not to talk over the record next time. We're tape recording it, you know.
Oh man, yeah.
It was. That's what created the mystery.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
It's what made everybody pack into the dance clubs. That's all the only place you could hear these records.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and your radio show, which is very hard to find any kind of a recordings of those at this point in time. Either people are keeping them secret or something. But to listen to those, you've got such a great radio voice and demeanor, and you're so excited on there. You really have that AM spark for all of the shows. Did you not ever think into becoming a national disc jockey and really taking over like so many? Did you really just want that whole world to develop in your own region?
I thought that the extent of my reach with the radio and the dance club was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If I had come along later, if we had satellite radio, it's indicated shows, if I had come along a little later, like Casey Posey, the guy was on just for a couple hours on us once a week on Saturday. He played the hits, you could hear him, but he told a little story about each record or artist that was unique, and he made millions. His show was in 40 cities.
Wow.
And he made millions, but that's unfortunately. I hope you'll include this, but that's one reason why friends of mine begged me while I'm still here. I let them hear not only some of the rare stuff, but some of the records I was holding out for my own set of albums. I had, as you know, my own record company. But in the late, I didn't want to play them.
Yeah.
They were so important, the most rare and awesome of all my records. And I held enough out, and as a matter of fact, I brought masters up so that pressings and had remixes done by Joe Chartzigo.
Good Lord.
This is my sound and Troy, best engineer in the world.
Oh.
And bottom line is, I waited too long. I smarted myself, and then in the late 60s, psychedelic, even in Pittsburgh, where this unknown mystery, rare records were such a big deal.
Yeah.
Obscure doowop. This was the center of the universe for obscure, unknown doowop that were driving people crazy.
Right, yeah.
Because they couldn't figure out what it was. Mystery.
Well, Bob, drive us crazy with another set of some incredible garage music, okay?
Here we go.
Won't you send me some loving, baby? Say that I pray. How can I love you when you're so far away? Oh, send me your kisses, baby. Send it, my dear, so I can hold you, pretend you are here. Can you send me your kisses? still feel that touch. I love you so badly. I still want you too much. My days are so lonely. My nights are so blue. I'm here and I'm lonely. I'm waiting for you. Send me your kisses. I still feel that touch. I love you so badly. I still want you too much. My days are so lonely. My nights are so blue. I'm here and I'm lonely. I'm waiting for you. Won't you send my song, love, baby? Won't you send my song, love, baby? Whoa, some love. I can't wait till Friday comes. I can't wait till Friday comes. I can't wait till Friday comes. When baby calls me on the telephone, and that's when my baby tells me she's coming home. I can't wait till Friday comes. Hey, I can't wait till Saturday comes. I can't wait till Saturday comes. 'Cause when that yellow moon is on the wane, I go and meet my baby at the midnight train. I said I can't wait till Saturday comes. Hey! Till Sunday comes. I can't wait till Sunday comes. 'Cause although my baby's been here and has gone, I go to the station to pick up my other one. I said I can't wait till Sunday comes. Hey! I can't wait till Monday comes. I can't wait till Tuesday comes. I can't wait till Wednesday comes. I said I can't wait till Thursday comes. I can't wait till Friday comes. Hey, look at me, boys. Don't I act crazy? My legs are weak. My eyes are hazy. I saw this girl. I met this girl. And since then I'm in another world. She's my dog-haired, dog-eyed, cute-walking, softly talking, lively one. Yeah, lively one. All right.
Okay, that's what started off with the Huntsman. They were out of Long Beach, California. Send Me Some Lovin' on PAM, P-A-M. That was about 63. And that was followed up by another record that's so unique and
oh my God.
Hard Times. I Can't Wait Till Friday Comes.
Oh, yeah.
And man, that's on Gray Ant. It was out of Maryland in 66.
Oh my gosh.
And the Passions.
Again,
second
yeah.
one by them. Okay, well, on the Passions, lively one, it's on Pick out of Texas in 1965. And if you listen to the words of that, well, all of them, they have the lyrics, they have all the ingredients to bake the cake, or I didn't.
They did.
So, but that fellow and his girlfriend had quite a time, I think.
Yeah.
So,
oh, man. That's great.
Yeah. And these some of these groups, you have to remember too that when I started in the 50s, and this word got out about these incredible records that you couldn't hear anywhere, so that's what led to all the dance clubs. And but bottom line is, we started to open, big clubs, taking over theaters and nightclubs, Vegas-style nightclubs, and banquet hall, every place we could find that held a lot of people.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, what you have to remember is, I was collecting those records from, and the sources from our last, your show, number 102 show.
Yeah.
With Crashing the Party, that I had some incredible sources for records that
Sure.
Never made the chart and were a mystery. But,
Right.
But bottom line is, if you don't mind me throwing this in, I missed my opportunity when the music changed, and but I had, most of them were masters I bought or mint copies of the record still, and I was going to do 5 albums, about a dozen on an album in those days, 6 aside, so it was about 60 records, and I gave about 300 lists, names and titles to Malcolm Rosenberg and to Dave Levy, who handled music business for me with the record company, and Tommy James and that. And I said, when you get to 60, stop. But I want to buy all the masters possible to have the best quality album. These are the most amazing records. I've never risked playing them for fear that they'd be bootlegged, and then it's just another record once everybody has it.
Right,
And
right.
then I smothered myself, and the music changed almost overnight. But it went from, and even in Pittsburgh, where doowop and rare doowop was hotter than the national was, and just unbelievably strong here. before you knew it, everybody was listening to Jimi Hendrix and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Pink Floyd, and so doo-wop took a big hit. But the point I was getting at was that I started collecting those doo-wop records, mostly for the club that sung for radio, in the 50s, and then the big clubs when I started in '60. This garage music, didn't really happen for me. I didn't discover it and really get excited until I heard some about 65, mid-60s.
Yeah.
When it was a trend like grunge and punk and all those other things.
Yeah.
But so I didn't have those to give out to the jocks. I had a few except for the ones that I found on my own. But I didn't really start collecting those seriously until the latter half of the 60s, 65 to 70.
Yeah, but you were the one who brought Tommy James into prominence, into anything. And, that was it 65 that you found him, or what year was that, 66?
66, yeah.
And, we talked a little bit about that last time, and it wasn't enough for me. We wanted to talk about where you found the new Shondells, and also what kind of a venue did Tommy play at? What did you put him into with that first show in Pittsburgh, and what was the reaction? You want to just go back to that, because that's one of the key garage 45s, if you want to call it that exists, and that really created a commotion. So tell us about that, please.
Well, we did go over some details. I found the record from somebody that needed to sell his whole set to raise some funds. There were a few copies of the Hanky Panky. When we sped it up and then played it in the clubs, it went ballistic. It went on radio to number one on all stations first week. They bootlegged it here.
Many times, yeah.
And they did that to every record of mine, Take It Fine, because they could sell 10, 20, 50,000 copies in tri-state area and never pay anybody. And instead of $1 a record, they were selling for $5. So
Man.
This is the reason I held out some for my own albums.
Yeah, sure.
And, bottom line is, I want to go back to the question you asked. About the Shondell. Yeah. So I wound up bringing Tommy into Pittsburgh, saying him up, and when he came in, it was on every station. He went from playing in a bar for half a dozen people to a Mick Jagger experience, and was dumbfounded. His manager signed him over to me, and I took him to New York. I set up all the deals in New York to make his launch his career. The publicity agent, booking agent, record company, and I got him a manager because I couldn't stay there with all I had going on.
Right.
But bottom line is the question we left out when we did discuss that last month on another show of yours was the Shondells. One was killed, one went to Vietnam. Only Tommy was left, so he had to put a group together. The group he came in with on that first week, did a few of the clubs, got by with them. But I'll tell you that story because everything in the book that came out about that is all fantasy. It was secondhand from what the roulette was feeding to Tommy James.
Okay.
Here's the real, everything I told you on the other end, and this is the real deal of the Shondells. There were no Shondells then, just Tommy. So the biggest problem was, what do we do now? This record's breaking out. I'm going to take them to New York to make a deal, and I did. But we needed a group. But I didn't just need any group. I needed a group, knowing that this thing would explode nationally, like it did in Pittsburgh. I needed a group that was ready to play on the big world stages. I needed a group of professional quality musicians that could go into the recording studio and do the follow-up single, which we did on the album, which I also did for him. And so that presented a real challenge. He was in town, and there was a group, Junior Leone and the Pharaohs. They were young kids, but they weren't good enough to do it, but they really wanted to be. So they went up, and while I was searching for a band to be the Shondells, there was a smaller club, maybe 400, smallest we had up in Brentwood, the Sugar Shack, and so they were up there rehearsing, and maybe they were going to do the next weekend with Tommy because the first band wasn't cutting it well. So they were good enough for that. Okay, I decided that, I didn't know all the bands in the area. I knew some of the bands. I called the top booking agents, everyone in the city, and there were maybe 3 major ones. And I said, I need a group, that obviously could be similar to what the Shondells were. I need a club group, whatever, to back up a new hit record and hit artist with something. And so I told him to get back with me with the best potential options in this whole tri-state area that might be, maybe we could make a deal with. So I'm doing that, and in the meantime, I get a call from a fellow who came to my White Elephant when he was young, dropped out of school, didn't like it. He had a wealthy dad, King Hartman. And Tom Hartman winds up telling his dad into building a club. He was out eastern, not in my area where I was operating, but didn't come in, but in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. He had his dad build him a club to play White Elephant or Bob Mack, whatever, but and it actually was distant from where we were at, but he did well. It was called the Red Rooster. Mm-hmm. So I get a call from him. He said, Bob, this is Tom Hartman. I said, hey, Tom, how you doing? He said, Bob, listen, he said, I hope we're friends. He said, I've never come into your areas or anything like that. And, I'm just out here at my place. And he said, I just heard you're the manager. You signed Tom up. You're the manager for the artist with Hanky Panky. And at that time, it was just Sean Bell. Okay. So I said, yes. And he said, Bob, he said, I want to book them for my clubs. I try to bring in from time to time acts like you did at the White Elephant, with Chuck Berry and the Five Satins and all the groups that in. And he said, I really want, I want to book them. I'll book them right now. I'll pay whatever the price is. I said, well, Tom, listen, I'll have to call you back. Well, I'm not taking any dates now because there are no Shondells. There's only the lead singer. And I am currently in an all-out blitz to find a group. I have 3 agents, and they're setting up appointments. So far, I have 3 groups that they say are the best I'll ever find. He said, Bob, I got the answer for it. And I said, oh, okay, sure, yeah. And he said, no, Bob, listen. There's a group that plays out here in Greensburg it's packed. They play at a place called the Thunderbird Lounge. You can't get in. These guys are all music majors in college. They are so good and so tight, and they do hanky panky in their set. And I said, well, give me the name and where they're at. We'll see if they're. We'll talk to them. He says, well, they're called the Raconteurs. I said, well, Tom, that's one of the names I have on my list. He said, Bob, these guys are like as good as any group I've had in that made any record. They're the best you'll ever find. So I call up to the Sugar Shack. I get a hold of Junior, and he was disappointed because he was hoping I wouldn't find anybody and I'd have to use his group.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, Junior, listen, I always do what I say. I'll take care of you. I need you to, whatever your work, so drop everything. And at least by this evening, I need you to go out around 30, way out to Greensburg. And there's a group playing at a club out there called the Thunderbird Lounge. And I want you to take Tommy, at least you and Tommy, go out. And he agreed. So that's how Tommy met the Raconteurs. They
Wow.
actually were on stage, and somehow they got word that he was Tommy well, at that time it was Thomas Jackson. I had just named him Tommy Jackson, but I still refer to him as that all the time, by that name. Anyway, I'm trying to get all the details in so you know.
Love it. Love it.
The story. But bottom line is, they found out he was in a crowd, and they wound up talking to him and calling him up, and he performed. And the roof came off the place. Okay, it was
Wow.
unbelievable. I mean, they already were a great act. So, to make a long story short, I got them to come in to the Carlton House office the next day, and I brought Tommy obviously was there too. And I ran by them what was going on, that we were taking them to New York. There's a lot of companies interested. This is going to be a monster. I mean, I've called some long shots, but I got a pretty good ear for music. And I see the reaction. This thing. So basically, I want to know, I don't think I have to ask you about, can you cut it in a studio and can you remix your music majors, you know? And I've heard some incredible reports about you. I'm surprised, well, you're not in Pittsburgh, so I didn't ever hear you, but would you want to be the new Shondells? There are no former Shondells. And they were all excited, but they were under a contract to to one of the Pittsburgh agents here. They said, but he happened to be in the same building, the Carlton House, where my offices and record company were. So they wound up telling, they come back a little later, and the guy was honorable enough. I'm sure he made good money. He was honorable enough to see that they had a great opportunity here, and to really get into the big time, where they deserved to be. They were that good. And so he gave them a release. And so bottom line is, those five guys became the Raconteurs became the Shondells. And of course, as you're aware from our past conversations, I told Tommy that, you know, you're the important part here. You're the front man, you're the singer, you're the show. And so, and I said, you're going to be a legend. And I was rattling off some names of other legends, you know, that still today people talk about. And one of them was Jesse James. I said, you know what? That is a nice ring to it. What if you were, well, you can't be Jesse. What about Tommy? How about Tommy James?
Oh, man.
And the Shondells?
Oh, wow.
And everybody thought, wow, that's perfect. And so, you know, things just come to you. Like I say, I always thought this is the universe working through me. It's not my own.
Oh, my God.
But I went, how many times have you gone to sleep with a problem that could never, and you wake up and you got the answer? Well, hey, you were sleeping.
Yeah.
So I think there's more to this life, and we're connected to the Creator and all that. So that's another issue. But anyway, I've had ideas that come to me, and when I don't try to find, you know, change it or dismiss it, and just follow what my instincts, what to me the creative forces are telling me, it worked. Anyway, yeah. I'm getting on the subject, but that's how the Shondells, the new Shondells, came into play. So basically, I was going to tell you that at some point, and that's kind of the story of how we found the new Shondells in 24 hours.
Oh, wow. That's an incredible tale. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Incredible. Now we're going to be going into another set of super mega rarities, and this whole thing with what they now call garage. You didn't call it garage back then, did you?
The music was a little different than the love songs and the rhythm and blues to some extent. It was a more driving, you know, heavy beat.
Yeah, kind of nasty, yeah.
But that's what caught me, and then I started listening to the lyrics, because to me, the soundtrack and the melody and all that, so and the harmonies, but it has to have, it has to make you, all of a sudden your foot starts tapping when you're listening, or you're jumping around in the room. Yeah, it has to do that to me. I'm not easy to please when it comes to music, and if you listen to my stuff, maybe you'll understand.
Yeah, but, yep.
But anyway, we got another set here, and this starts off with one that really kicks butt. I won't use the other word, and hopefully this will get people's interest.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's go one more time.
Find a girl that will love me. Wish I could go back to the love I had before. She's the kind of girl that I could love more. Oh yeah, yeah. I wish I could hear you say that we were through. Don't you know my love could never be true? Every time I get ready to leave, you always on the eye. Time has come to tell you I'm putting you out right now, yeah, yeah. I wish I could hear you say that we were through. Don't you know my love could never be true? Every time I get ready to leave, you always tell me out. Time has come to tell I'm putting you out right now, yeah, yeah. done me wrong. Went away and left me. Now 6 months on, yes he is. Well, yes he is. It's such a hard life. No, someday gonna get straightened out. Gonna find out just what life's all about. No, sure that I keep on trying. That someday gonna find my mind, yeah. It's such a tough life sometimes. It's so tough sometimes, yes it is. This old world is getting you down. This old world is getting you down.
That set started off with Jay Garrett. It's titled Shake It Old Gal. It's on Beam.
Tell us about it.
I don't recall where that one came from. The next one, Kurt Bloch and the Vibrations, not the rhythm and blues vibrations, titled She's My Kind. It's on Metra. And they were from Arthur, Texas.
Good
And I
God.
got that sent by someone connected with the group. That was about 65.
Holy
And
mackerel.
It lines up with a real heavy, another heavy beat record, a little easier tempo. The Way 4,
Oh, yeah.
Hard Life, and it's on Ram Pro. So I guess they were professionals at ramming or something, but it's Ram Pro. And, they were from Janesville, Wisconsin. That was about 66.
Good Lord. I just can't imagine people hearing these on the dance floor back then, mixed in with like soul records, which was also another thing that you were playing, right?
Well, the funny thing is, I never, most people know about, because of the radio show, they know, and they know about the dance clubs and they know about the rhythm and blues. They found out as we started in the mid-60s to mix in some of this incredible garage music. But no, I never really, 65 years, I've done over 5,000 radio shows and dance clubs.
Oh, Lord.
And events in that time, and I finally did my last one for the Pittsburgh Collectors last December. Some of my biggest clubs were in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Some of them were adult clubs, and some were young adult clubs.
No kidding.
And that's where I actually had another collection that, again, it's all part of the big club, but it was separate. And I don't know what you'd call it, because frankly, I never played psychedelic in the 70s. I never played rap, and I never played disco. So
God bless you, Bob Mack.
I'm so delighted that you discovered what happened here, and you've been fascinated, because what other city had dance clubs like this all over? None. I traveled, and I went to some record hops that DJs had, but no city had a station featuring mostly obscure and unknown records. And they were all playing the hits. That's been my mission, to take some of these records it used to be just radio and dance clubs, but now with people like you and with the internet, the whole country, the whole world can hear. And that's the reason in my 80s I'm still delighted to share. My little brother got me started. One time when I was in college, I was thinking about, I would maybe open a hot rod shop near the Chevy deal around here, and he used to go. He was younger. He went to the dances, the early ones I started at little halls and schools and YMCA, everything. And every time I brought that up, he'd look at me and say, "Bob, what about the music? You should be with me when I'm out there in these crowds, and the kids go nuts for this stuff, And it turned out that when I listened to him, and also a gal that Mrs. Gardner I told you about last time, who said, Bob, you got to open up some big clubs up here in Pittsburgh. And she actually encouraged me, and those were the things that I actually heard when they spoke, and it turned into being my career, my hobby. My music became my career. But okay, let's get to the WZUM. That's I did tell you that I wanted to spread the word. I thought my limit was just Pittsburgh, not the whole country, like with you and with the internet now. But bottom line is, I realized that there were 2/3 or more of the population were too old to go to my young adult clubs. They were kind of or too young. And there was a new radio station, WZUM. I went home, made up a tape of some of the really strong stuff, left it at the radio station. I told Jim Sahulis, he made those Pittsburgh Steelers songs, by the way.
Oh, wow.
The band, yeah. But I left it with the station, and I said, Jim, I didn't want to insult him, but he had no listeners, no sponsors, no ratings, no nothing. And this is the reason I went there. I thought maybe, I told him, the kids are going crazy for this music. He said, what music? I said, well, I made up a half-hour tape for you. Let me just leave it. Here's my card. If you think that this would do with the radio audience what I've already explained to you is happening at our dance clubs, I said, let me know what you think. When I got home later that day, my phone was ringing. There was no answering machine.
Yeah.
And so I opened, I go in, and it's still ringing. I picked it up and said, hello, this is Bob. The voice said, Bob Mack. I said, yes. This is Jim Sahulis from WZUM. Oh, Jim. Okay, well, I thought maybe I left something behind. He said, Bob, I had a couple of the record distributor promotion men here. And I asked a couple of my DJs to stay and go to work in the office, and we all just listened to this tape. I said, okay. He said, Bob, no one has a clue what this is, but everyone is going out of their freaking minds.
Great.
I will give you prime time. Can you start tomorrow? I'll give you prime time, like 4 to 8 or whatever. I said, yeah. So I showed up, and first record was Firewater, Crazy Instrumental.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't long that station went from others, didn't even have a rating, to the top-rated station that was playing music in Pittsburgh. I couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. But after a couple of years, I just couldn't. I had so much going on with concerts and nightclubs and the record shop and managing artists, and I couldn't do that 7 days a week.
Right.
3 hours on the air, an hour going and an hour returning. That's like 5 hours. I just couldn't do it. And when I told them, I said, listen, Jim, it's been a couple of years. It's been great. I said, but I have some out of towns I'm starting to, out of town clubs that I have groups that I have to, or I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
He said, I know you're jerking me around. I know you're kidding me. You don't quit when you're on top. He said, there's this Red Hot Chambers is planning, the owner of the station. He has a bunch of stations out of Virginia. He's planning and throwing a big party up here to celebrate. You got ratings. We got sponsors now. You're making money. It was always a write-off, He said, I said, Jim, listen to me. March will be, was it 3 years or 2 years, whatever it was. I said, have somebody ready. I can't do it. He still thought that I was, I don't know what he thought, but bottom line is I had to leave the show. And at that time, Mike was still working for me at my place. And
You're meaning Mad Mike Metrovic?
Yes.
Yeah, so, he was working for you at Tri-State, right? Yeah,
well, but what happened afterward, I didn't think about what replacing me. I just said, have one of his jocks and be ready to throw in something like that. But he actually didn't believe it, but he had somebody on standby. So Al G, that was a black guy, did a really good show. It was before my Max Wax Museum, I called it.
Wow.
On the way to the station the first day, I didn't have a name, and I didn't like to put my name on things on my clubs. It was about the music. But bottom line is, I said, well, they call these records stacks of wax.
Yeah.
And mine are all older that never made it, and they're incredible, but nobody knows. And like going into a museum.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what, how about Max Wax Museum? I did that just before I walked into the station.
Oh
That's
my
what I
goodness.
called it. It's just like I was, reading the lines that were written for me. So anyway, I'm going through a lot that I didn't know we'd get into today, but bottom line is that's it. Oh, they found a kid named Johnny Walker to fill in for me. And, it's all a matter of record. I don't make this stuff up, but that station that was the hottest thing in town, it went from others, not even a rating, to an 8.
Wow.
Stations, that's percentage of the population, I think, on Arbitron and the radio magazines. It's about as hot as you can get, and we had the biggest audience. And incredibly, in a few months, the station crashed. It no longer had numbers. It didn't have sponsors. I wasn't paying much attention, but so then National Record Mart, that my Tri-State Record Shop competed with, we hurt their oldest business terrible. So I was just doing it to move records that came to me, and I didn't want to keep myself. That was the reason for the store, and we sold some other stuff. But he thought I was out to get him, Shapiro, that owned the store. So he got word to his employees that Mac's never there anymore. He has one of his DJs, Mike Metro, they call him Mad Mike, working. And, I think, frankly, from what I understand, Mac doesn't even care about that store. And I'll bet you can make him a deal to come over. So bottom line is, they called Mike over, and he called Jim Sahulison from my old radio station that had crashed. And all these record sales were hurting in their store, and their radio station was hurting. So he got Jim Sahulison with the radio into his office at National Record Mart, main office downtown, and they called Mike in. And I think, as I understood it, Mike was kind of in the waiting room. So he has Jim Sahulison. He said, Jim, my record business is hurting. Your station is hurting. And you're not going to get Mac back on the air. No. So he said, well, I'm making a move. And it's going to put you back on the map and put me back on the map. He said, I'm going to make a deal to get the guy that he relies on to run that store, and he is also a serial poet that comes up with good stuff. I come up with a plan to put you back on that, put me on the back of that, and get rid of this Tri-State. He had told me he thought I was out to get him. Didn't even care about him. I was just trying to move records that they couldn't get anywhere else, the buyers. So bottom line is, he said, well, he told Shapiro, Jim Sahulison, he said, I don't know how you could possibly do that, my friend. So you got to explain yourself. He opens the door and he walks in, Mad Mike.
Yeah.
He said, this guy has been beefing up his collection. He worked at Mack's Story. We're going to buy some time. I'm going to give him a job over here for more than he makes over there. And I'm going to give him a deal. And he had already talked to Mike, so Mike was there listening. But he said, I'm going to give him a deal where he can make extra money. He'll do what Mac used to do. He'll play some records, create a demand, and then, and then they sell the record and make a bundle. He said, so he will take some of his records, play them, create a demand, and we'll play out Mad Mike albums. And he'll share in those profits. I give him a job. I'm guaranteeing him a job here for life. I'm going to buy time on your radio station, the same slot Mac used to have, okay? And we're going to put Mike on the air. So that's how that happened.
Wow.
And when Mike did his albums, at first it was a bonanza, but that was getting later into the '60s, and doowop was about to get a hatchet job done on it by the new Chicago and Beatles and all the new and psychedelics. But it worked for a while. But then the station ratings went down. They stopped selling albums, and this guy. I did eventually. I closed Tri-State. Mike came over to see me. We were like really pretty close. I did a lot for him. He did a lot to help me playing at the dances. And he came to see me after that meeting. And it was closing time to dinner. He said, Bob, he looked like his best friend had died or something. And he said, I got to talk to you. I said, so he tells me the story, and he said, Bob, Shapiro and the radio station, so they called me over and they made me an offer. They want me to do something. And I said, well, for what? He said, well, they're willing to buy time and put me on the radio. They want me to give me a job over there. They have a plan to put some albums out. I get known. That's one thing I never did. I've kept everything a secret, so I never put albums out. But anyway, and I said, well, Mike, I said, Mike, I need to start, I need a hole in the head. So, when a door opens for me, what would I do? I'd go through it. You know what I mean? What's out there?
Right.
What do you have to lose? The game of life card. It was a free admission. So he said, but Bob, that's not the whole story. They would want me not only to leave here, but I couldn't play for you. They don't like you. They think you're out to get them.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it. He said, I would have to give up Wildwood. He said, Bob, I'm in heaven. What about that? So anyway, I won't tell you the whole story, but bottom line is, I said, Mike, I don't need this store. And look, they're giving you a great opportunity. If it were me, you know what I would do? I always walk through the door when it opened. And I'd say, you have nothing to lose and maybe a lot to gain. He said, but that's not the whole story. They want me to give up some of my records, like stuff that you'd introduce, that he kept a mystery just like I did.
Yeah.
No one knew. In fact, when he played his records, he put a disc on top so people come up, they couldn't see them. And I did the same thing. I never, I never let anybody know. Anyway, bottom line is, he said, I have to leave your dances. I will leave the store. He said, that's like, I'm in heaven when I'm out there playing. Just like you, when I saw you playing the first time I went into your club. I said, well, and he said, every time I give up one of my records, it's like you said once before, it's like losing one of your children when they bootleg it, and all of a sudden everybody has it, have the only one.
Right.
So bottom line is, they took their deal. I won't tell you the rest of the story, but unfortunately, when the album stopped, weren't selling and doowop was taking a dive, that guaranteed radio show was canceled.
Yeah.
Right? The guaranteed job for life was canceled. They put him on the street.
Oh.
And he lost his one dance. They wouldn't let him play my dances. So Rescue Dance Land in the North Hills made him an offer. They ran dances since the 1800s, I think. It's the amusement park of all of them. So, they, when the crowds run with that. Anyway, bottom line is that if I had known this, I would have reached out to him. But he actually was so depressed, he left Pittsburgh and went down. And he was he was an engineer, as a radio studio engineer.
Yeah.
And actually taught radio and that. So bottom line is he goes down to Virginia, and that kind of ended the WZUM explosion and the Tri-State Records, and everything.
Wow.
I'm getting into a lot of stuff here that I didn't really know if you'd be interested in, but you've made trips here a lot, and you've been fascinated with this town and what happened here with our music is.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm talking with you, because I know you're for real, sweetheart, and you love the music like I do. And I can't spread the word anymore, and you can't. So I hope some of your listeners will Google Bob Mack Pittsburgh doowop and take a listen to what these guys talked me into putting on there. But anyway, let's get back to the garage stuff today.
Yeah.
And where did we leave off?
Well, well, this has been a great interview. It really has, and having you on as a guest has been amazing again. And I hope that you come back real soon. I think we have a lot of ground to cover. I want to hear some more of these great records that you made popular in the Pittsburgh area and that we're so influenced by. But there are some records out there that people may not be aware of that you actually produced. Can you play us some of those?
Yeah. Actually, I was prepared for this because last time when you were talking about doing a garage thing, you didn't know that I actually had, besides the dance club records, the radio records, and that I added some personal stuff, and even had started to play some garage. Also some, so we won't get into that, but that came in the 70s and 80s, and we had packed dance floors and places like the big clubs, some of Pittsburgh's biggest clubs, the Zodiac, East, this Frontier and St. Clair, you couldn't get in the place. And the little theater we converted up in Beaver Valley, Infinity. But let's get to what's important to your listeners, and that's hearing. So in addition to these sets, I did put together a couple of the records that I produced. Real Mac and Viscount records. And why don't we do this? Actually, I have one set of them. I grabbed 4 of these records that got rave reviews. They didn't all make it big, but only 1 in 1,000 records.
Oh, great.
Catchy lyric thing that takes it to the top. But I could either stop after each one of these 4 records or wait till they're done and tell you, but each one of them is a unique story.
Right. Okay. Well, why don't we go through them one at a time then? And you can tell us about each one of them, because I think they might be a little bit different and there might be a tale behind each one of them.
Yeah, if we go back, they might not know which one I'm talking about.
Right.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in.
The records that, and again, you're introducing stuff like I always did that are pretty obscure because only a couple got some action on the radio. But anyway, okay, this first one is by a group we renamed. It was a South group we renamed the Starglows. The Starglows history is incredible. I brought a lot of big name rhythm and blues groups in, and I wanted to bring the Flamingos that had Lovers Never Say Goodbye and so many great hits and a unique sound. It was one of many groups that had many at the White Elephant and at some of the other clubs over the years. So it turns out that the Flamingos had just broken up, and I was told that the 2 guys that came into the group at some point and created that unique sound, like nothing like it in the history of music. But Nate Nelson and Terry Johnson had left. They were with on End Records, and they could not use the name Flamingos. It was owned by the owner of End Records, George Goldner.
Right.
So, but they did the appearance. We went out to the restaurant, as we always did after the shows. They found out about our record company and heard some of the stuff. And so the 2 guys that left were really the heart and soul of the Flamingos. Nate Nelson and Terry Johnson were the lead singers. Anybody can do backup. Well, not anybody, but, and they wrote the songs. So I booked them, and I advertised them as Nate and Terry, the former lead singers of the Flamingos. Because they couldn't call themselves the Flamingos. George Gore owned the right to the name. So, but we finally put a deal together. I want to try to make this short. We finally put a deal together. Nate and Terry said they had written a tune some time back, but they left Golder because they weren't, well, like a lot of groups in those days, weren't getting paid for their writing or their record sales. So bottom line is they made the appearance. We get together afterward. They saw what I was doing, and they saw some of the stuff I produced. They said, Bob, we have a record that we wrote as like a follow-up, even better in our opinion, and most people have heard it, than Lovers Never Say Goodbye. And you've got a record company, you know, would you be interested in putting this out? So they said, and it was incredible. So we recorded Let's Be Lovers. And it was so incredible, and I had just parted ways with Joe Rock. That's another story, but it was a reason my records weren't getting played. So I was the company at that point. That was just happening, actually. I got my attorney to make up an agreement. We gave him a new name. Couldn't call them the Flamingos or former Flamingos on the record. So I gave him the name Starglows. And Joe had been the guy that was supposed to promote the records, and that's the reason we parted ways. It wasn't happening. I decided the best thing that I could do with this, and it was an incredible record, and everyone that heard it, that's not just my opinion. So I leased it to Atco. That was the first dealings I had, by the way, with Atlantic Atco Records.
Well, how did you do that? How do you make a deal with Atco at that time, 1963?
I wanted it to be on a major label. And I didn't have a new manager promotion guy. It was my company, One Joe. So when I let him go. So bottom line is I thought I better give this to a major, and so Jerry Greenberg and Jerry Wexler, I guess, were just, I think they were both there at that time. Mm-hmm. So a long time ago. But bottom line is they heard it and they said, wow. So they agreed right away to put it out. As crowded as their artist roster was, and in those days, stations would only play 2 records by a company. They had 30 or more major artists. But what happened was when the DJ copies came out, and they went to the billboard and the magazines and the distributors, they were getting rave reviews. Terry thought it was their best effort. Next thing that happens, I've had a couple of these things happen. George Goldner Mus Levy distributed his records, and he was part of the gang, part of the mob in New York. So bottom line is, he goes to Wexler and Greenberg at Atlantic Atco, and he told them that I own the name Flamingos. This record, as soon as he got a copy, he ran over there. And I don't know what the conversation was, but by the time he was done, he had convinced him, whether it was legally made sense or not. He claimed that they said, well, you've parted ways with the Flamingos. They're under another name. They have the right to make a record and be out on Romac, or, the owner of Romac, Bob Mack, has given it to us to put out on Atco, and it's already in the works. He somehow hit them, that was a heavy group in New York, convinced them that sound was so much like the Flamingos that he owned, and he felt he owned the sound, I guess, and not the artist. But he said, that's an infringement on my sound, my rights, and I will sue the hell out of you if you put that out.
Oh,
and
boy.
you might have told him some things a little stronger than that, being mob connected.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the next thing that happens is they pulled the record, and I will never know if that would have been the Flamingos' biggest hit or not.
Oh, it's okay. Let's listen.
Let's go.
Let's be lovers. say goodbye. Oh, my darling, say that you love me. Please, darling, say you'll be mine, and I will love you. Yes, I will love you, baby, baby, till the end of the time. Let's be lovers instead of just friends. For I have loved you since heaven knows when. Forever and because lovers never say
Starglow's incredible, Bob Mack. What do we got next?
Okay, this next record is a group that was from Pittsburgh. They were called the Igniters, and in the mid-'60s, they were, I didn't use local bands myself, but in the club scene, they were just lighting it up. They had a really great lead singer with a unique voice named Frank Zuri. And they had a great musician. The organ player, Jeff Bobula. All I can tell you about Jeff was that he was a show on his own. I mean, Frank the singer was out front. But let's put it this way. If you put Jeff on one side of the stage, and you had Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, and Billy Preston playing the pianos and organs on the other side, everybody would be watching Jeff Bobula. He was all over, standing on the thing, going nuts, his antics, and he was such a talented musician. Okay. So anyway, we got to, they knew about what I had done with a lot of records that exploded here in this market, and the Tommy James thing and all that. And so, to make a long story short, we get together. They didn't have a record, and I did not write at that time very much, a little. So we did a copy of a record that I guess it was a Phil Spector, "Baby I Love You."
Yep.
This is so far long ago. Anyway, they did kind of a garage version of this, and we went to Philly, Sigma Sound, and that was Joe Tarsia, who was an incredible. And eventually, he had a place in New York, a second studio that did Elton John and Billy Joel and
Wow.
and in Philly, he had done all the Gamble Huff, Chumpy Checker, and New Orleans, and all those records. And when he started in Philly, and Patti LaBelle and all that, Gamble Huff soul records. Anyway, we did the record, and they said, "Bob, you got some strength in New York." And again, I wanted to have someone else that was set up a big company to handle this. So they said, get us on Atlantic Records. I mean, they were kids, and I explained to them that they had over 30 major artists that were fighting because the radio stations would only play no more than 2 artists by any company.
That's right.
And they weren't even getting their establishment. I said, listen, Atco, you'll never get played. They've got big names that are demanding to be the first to be sent out to the stations.
Yeah.
I said, I said maybe Atco, and I do know these people. I've had dealings with them, but they said, oh Bob, you can do it. They say you can do it. Well, Dick Clark could not have gotten a record on Atlantic
Yeah.
in 1968. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I took it up and I met with Greenberg and Wexler. And they said, well, this was in 68. They said, well, we missed the hanky panky. We had to turn it down and wound up with mush. And we were sick about that. You know, we'll find a way. We'll go with this. They took the record. And they were going to go on Atco, and then Tommy and them said, oh, we always thought you were going to push that money. I called them back. They gave us Atlantic Records. I don't know how I pulled that off, but bottom line is, I told them, I said, listen, you're on with the biggest independent label in the world. You got the best team behind, but you know what? They got artists that are going to walk on them if they play your record before they say, oh, man, it'll work out. Anyway, it didn't work. So that's pretty much the story.
The record is Baby I Love You by Jimmy Mack and the Music Factory.
Jimmy Mack and the Music Factory, Baby I Love You, that came on Atlantic in 68, but the promotion man never got it to radio stations. But bottom line is, the comment that they made when I took the record to them was that, you know what, this kid Frankie sounds like he's got quite a unique voice.
Well, who's Frankie compared to Jimmy Mack? Who's Jimmy Mack and who's Frankie?
I gave him that name. It was like Motown. Everybody was...
So Jimmy Mack was Frankie. Okay.
So the Igniters, became Jimmy Mack and the Music Factory.
So you renamed Tommy James and you renamed Frankie too.
No, this was Frankie. And so the comment that they made, this was just after they had to pass because of Mush Levy on Hanky Panky and Tommy. So they took Frank Zuri, the Jimmy Mack and the Music Factory.
Yeah.
And so the comment that they made, and I told Frankie this just recently, and he was just about in tears, but I told him that Frank, when I did the deal with them, they listened and they said, you know what? This Frankie kid's got quite a voice. They said, if the right song comes along, Frankie could be your next Tommy James.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Unfortunately, they never got airtime.
All right, what else you got there?
Okay, this was a Pittsburgh artist, a kid that if you looked in the dictionary under blue-eyed soul, his picture would be there. A white kid that sang like a black kid. It was Larry Bryan.
Oh.
And when he came in, everybody was knocked out. Joe was still there. That was in '62, just before his record and the Skyliners record that I also have was released. Anyway, when I brought him down, and Johnny Jack had written some tunes for the Skyliners, Guns Love, and for the Enchantments, Lonely Heart, which was great. But anyway, Joe was regretting. He made a comment, boy, I wish I had, for this kid, another Since. Well, that's what he always called Since I Don't Have You, their biggest record, their first record. And he said, but I don't know if you could ever duplicate that. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Let's try. It happened that Wally Lester and Wally Lester and Jackie Taylor, two of the members of the Skyliner were there.
Okay.
I said, that's a story like some of my ballads. They're not love found and Embrace Me records. They're love lost.
Okay.
Someone that's torn apart because of a love that they lost.
Sure. I
said, how about a similar story? To make a long story short, I'll try again. I sat down and I threw some ideas at him, and so when the record came out, instead of my name being on his writer, it was Joe Locke, Wally Lester, Jackie Taylor, and Bob Mack. But that's fine. It was kind of a group thing. We worked on, fine-tuned it together. By the way, Jimmy Beaumont was the great lead singer, one of the greatest singers I think of all time. But the musical talent in that group, the guitar player Jackie Taylor, he was a whiz kid.
Wow.
And anyway, all four names were on it for the writing credits.
Okay, but showcasing the talent in out of Pittsburgh, not just discovering records from out of town, but your town had an incredible sound. So Larry Bryan on Viscount. What was the Viscount label?
Larry Bryan was on Viscount. The name of the tune was On the Outside, as in on the outside looking in after his love was lost.
Okay.
On the Outside was a title on my label, Viscount, 1962.
Wait a minute. On your label, Viscount?
Yes. Romack Viscount. I set Romack up to do the rhythm and blues, like the Lonely Heart, and the Top 40 and Skyliner stuff was on Viscount. So this was another one of my records that I did with Larry Bryan on Viscount. Yeah.
I'm going out of my mind.
Okay, how many records were on Viscount? Do you recall?
Not that many, because after Jill, I did a few things myself, and I did the Tommy James stuff later, some of the early ones.
Okay.
But I never thought I was a producer, although we had some good luck.
Wow.
But, I usually gave to other people to produce for me, or other labels to market.
Okay.
But that's the Larry Bryan on the outside. The next one I have, if you're ready for another one.
Sure.
This is the last one of the batch. This was the reason that I did the company. When Joe came to me, wasn't after the first couple records, he couldn't. They couldn't come up with another hit, and so we had the original group together, except for the gal that passed away. Bottom line is, this was I was told was the biggest session, over 20 musicians ever done for a doo-wop record. I have no way to know if that was true. It certainly was true for Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And I broke the bank with this thing. I mean, it was unbelievable. But that's the Skyliners, and a record that the same writer that did Lonely Heart for me, and he was talented, Johnny Jack.
Fantastic.
The Comes Love, and that was on the Viscount, came out in '62.
Okay, let's wrap up the show with that. Here comes the Skyliners.
Fighting all ties that bind, yeah, comes love, like a thief in the night. Come spring, come fall, conquers all. Time doesn't matter. Spring, summer, winter, or fall. Come close, come near. Show you there's no need to fear. So don't worry, my friend. You'll find out in the end that to everyone, sometimes comes
Well, the time has gone really fast. I have a million more questions for you, Bob, but we're just going to have you back again and again to fill in all the details with these great records and the backing stories, which are so incredible. Thank you so much for coming on, crashing the party. What about some closing words from Bob Mack?
Well, my mission in life, sweetheart, has been kind of like, what's her name? Oh, yeah, Miriam Lena. And my life has been devoted, when I saw how much response I got to my rare music that they had. My life has been devoted to taking records that were incredible, but had been overlooked, had never seen the light of day, and get them to as many people as possible, by all means possible. I was limited by just being, without having satellite radio, to just Pittsburgh. We did it through clubs. We did it through the radio show and produced some records. But I'm so grateful to you, since you have an audience that covers the whole country, maybe the world, I don't know. But I just hope that, my mission was to share, like my brother told me when he was a kid. I lost him young.
Oh, sorry.
And, my mission was to share this incredible music that I had found that no one knew with as many people as possible. And you're helping to keep that mission alive.
Oh, thank you so much. And it means a lot to be able to bring your name back into the equation, because you really did so much for music, not just out of your area, but now worldwide. People recognize these connections when you talk about doowop and 60s music and rhythm and blues. It just all becomes this incredible vault of information and music. Thank you so much, Bob Mack. We'll see you again very soon.
I just hope that your listeners they obviously are true music lovers, that they really appreciate listening to this music and hopefully enjoy knowing why and how it all happened and knowing the story. So, listen, you take care. Thank you kindly, and I hope your audience enjoys every minute of it.
Thanks so much, Bob. Talk to you soon. Again. Bye. Okay, here we go. Counting backwards from the top. Records produced by Bob Mack, initially for Romac and ending up on other labels. Check this out. As he described, the star glows, Let's Be Lovers, right to the top of the charts here forevermore. On Atco, 1963. Followed that up with Jimmy Mack and the Music Factory, Baby I Love You. Great version, whoa! Also on Atlantic, some 5 years later, 1968. Back to Larry Bryan on The Outside on Viscount 62, Bob's label, and followed that up with our last tune of the evening, The Skyliners, Comes Love on Viscount again. We want to thank Bob for this great session. Another couple of hours. We could do so many more couple of hours with him, and we shall. Thank you very much, Bob Mack. Hope you dug the show. Good night.
The Boss Hoss with the hot sauce, baby, coming to you from the top of the dial, Big Zoom Radio. This is the Groove Hoove, Jive Hive, later hater for all the gator haters, bopping and slapping on the hardwood, baby. We're going to put down some sounds tonight. It's the Mack's Wax Museum, and these are the Mack Monsters.
Cause we're not when you kiss me and you hold my hand and tell me, baby, I don't love a man and I like it. Oh, baby, I like it. Well, I want the world to know that I love you so, and I like it. Hey, now, come on, come on. Come on, come on.
right, that's I Like It by the Band Lawns, a special request for Dirty Martha from Punxsutawney. The Band Lawns and I Like It, and of course we all know Dirty Martha likes it. She's up there messing around with the groundhogs and Punxsy, and in this day of the pill, I guess anything goes. We have another one coming up. This will cream your craniums. This will crush your cookies, possibly. It depends on whether you're standing up or sitting down. This is a special request going out for Aunt Jemima, Betty Crocker, Desi Arnaz, and the Ayatollah, and it's called Karaoke.
Say, have you seen the karaoke? It's not a fast stop or a polka. It has a little bit of new rhythm. That side, it has a few steps that are tricky. A bit of wicky, wacky, wicky. But when you dance it with a new love, there'll be true love in her eyes. You dream of a new karaoke. Its theme is a kiss and a sigh. You dream of a new karaoke. When music and lights are low, we'll say goodbye. It has a few steps that are tricky, a bit of wicky, wacky, wicky. But when you dance it with a new love, there'll be true love in her eyes. You dream of a new karaoke. Its theme is a kiss and a sigh. You dream of a new karaoke. When music and lights are gone, we'll say goodbye. It has a few steps that are tricky, a bit of wicky, wacky, wicky. But when you dance it with a new love, there'll be true love in her eyes. Now that you've done the karaoke, you've got together till the break of day. Now that you've done the karaoke, we've got together till the break of day.
Karaoke from Max Wax Museum here on 1320 WKTQ, the Bob Mack segment of Don Bombard's fantastic oldie show in Pittsburgh. And Don, we were taking some calls on the phone earlier. We had some married couples, quite a few people asking about the possibility of a White Elephant, Lebanon Lodge, Bethel Park Arena, Wildwood reunion. And I'm going to give you, because there's so much interest in this, there's a lot of people between 25 and 40, I guess, out there that are listening that maybe you're out night clubbing now on weekends. So I'm going to give you a scoop, Don, for your show right here. We have a new club coming up. We're already operating one in the Beaver Valley called Infinity. And Pittsburgh's been ready for some time for a good after-hours club. There's one coming in a couple months, and this is the first mention that there's been on any of the media. It's going to be called Frontier, and I'll tell you what, after what I've seen here tonight, with the phones lit up constantly and the people that are really into the old rhythm and blues, the tough sounds, I would like to alter the format before this place even opens from what we had planned, and try to get you and a lot of the DJs that have been here tonight and all the people from the dances in the 60s to come out, and we will do, I promise you, when the Frontier opens, we will do a Pittsburgh reunion of all the people from the clubs and all the jocks that played there. Let's dip into the mellow sounds right here. This is one that you got to listen to carefully. It's by the Ideals, and it tells a story. It's called Magic.
A teenage boy walked up to his much older and wiser friend and said, "Tell me, how will I know when I'm in love?" His friend smiled and said, "Well, it's a frightening
to segue from Magic by the Ideals into another great old sound.
Teenage boy.
This is by the Four Pearls, and they'll only sing on one condition, that everyone gives them their undivided attention. So would everybody please look at the Four Pearls.
Look at me. Look at